Okay, I'm ready. You guys ready with your images? No, I mean the other images. No, two other ones. All right, welcome back. We're gonna show the Katrin book image, and then we're gonna show the new Tonglan project image. Good? All right, first of all, I'm happy to announce that the book Katrin has been finished in Russian and Ukrainian. And the Ukrainian one came out like last week due to the hard work of Rosa van Grieken. And the Ukrainian translation team under Victoria Tarango. And they finished the book, and it's selling. We're getting quite a lot of money out of it for $1.99. So if you speak Ukrainian, you're welcome to have one for $1.99. Okay. And again, I'd like to thank the translation team and Rosa. Yeah. And this is a part of a bigger project to help people who had a rough year last year or the last 3 years. So we have a lot of projects going on. There's been major dislocation of people due to war in Europe, and also major problems in Asia from the lockdowns. And there's kind of a communal trauma that happened around the world. We have, I think, trauma because of the COVID. Especially in Asia, it was very hard. The lockdown was very hard for everybody. And then in Europe, obviously, we have war going on. And in Syria, Turkey, we've been working as an organization to help people in those countries. And some of the stuff we're doing, the Katrin book was translated by a group of refugees, and we paid them. From the press and Diamond Cutter Press. And that was to help people who got out of their country and didn't have a place to stay and didn't have any money. So we had this project. That's one of the projects. John Brady and Connie are sponsoring 2 families, I think. They're like, what? Through a special visa project to help people who have been made refugees to get to come to the United States. And so the applications are in. We don't know if they will be approved yet, but the applications were made. And so basically they've taken responsibility to help those people. Veronica and myself are sponsoring 2 families to come. And Peachtree Cafe is offering work for them. And again, the applications are submitted. I suspect they will be approved. But we're just trying around the world to, all of us trying to help people who have had a rough couple of years. And I think for me, I can't pretend that I don't have enough money, and I can't pretend that they need it. You know what I mean? I don't feel comfortable to just talk about Tonglan and then I don't help somebody who lost their house. And so we've devised a project that we'd like to offer everyone to get involved with. You don't have to commit to bring 2 families and support them. That's a lot of money. But we have a smaller idea. So I'll pitch it, okay? And you tell me if you want to give $5 or $6 or 6,000. And it's called the Tonglen Service Grant, okay? Tonglen Service Grant. So here's the concept. There's people all over the world right now who lost their homes, lost their country, need help. And two of our organizations, ACI, Lamrim, and Diamond Mountain, are offering to hire people. And they've already hired some people from those refugees. And we've created a fund called the Tonglen Service Grant, okay? And anybody in the world can apply for a grant from Diamond Mountain or ACI, and it's a 2-year grant, and we have an application process at this QR code, okay? And if you would like to serve ACI or serve Diamond Mountain, we'll pay you. We'll give you a grant. So if you're a refugee for some reason, or you're having economic problems because of lockdown, or you just want to take a break for 2 years and do some service of these two organizations, okay, then we will pay you and we will give you a grant. So anybody can apply in the whole world, Peter, except you. No, just kidding. Anybody can apply. It's a 2-year grant. You get support from one of those two organizations. There's 3 requirements, well, 4. You got to apply. Okay, we don't care who you are, how many heads you have, or we don't even care. So anybody can apply, but you know, obviously, we're especially trying to help refugees and people who need a place to stay, people who need work, who need to support themselves. So the first thing is, it's open to anybody, but we're going to favor people who lost their homes or they lost their business because of COVID or something. That's the first thing. Second thing, what was the second thing? You will have to do Tonglen meditation every day for half an hour for the 2 years. So if you get a 2-year grant, part of the grant is you have to do Tonglen meditation half an hour a day. You have to keep a journal, and the journal will be checked by the German authorities at Diamond Mountain or by Tim. So you gotta do your Tonglen meditation for half an hour every day. Secondly, you will have to submit to training. So maybe you will be trained. We need people for online tech. It's not genius stuff. It's Zoom, how to make a Zoom call, how to film a class, how to run the stupid TriCaster thing to make it look good. You know, the Peachtree World News Show guys learned it, right? Well, pretty well. We want you to go through a training where you will learn to do online production, the way Tim and his crew over there, by the way, we should thank that crew. Yeah. There's a basic training thing, you know, if you're like me, you've got tech phobia and you don't want to learn how to use this stuff. And so anyway, if you get one of these grants, we'll be asking you to learn. And by the way, you don't have to be a genius. We can see who's back there. Just kidding. My wife says I shouldn't make jokes like that. Anyway, it's a good thing to know, and you shouldn't avoid learning it, okay, which is what I do. So we'll be training you, or maybe we'll train you in online translation or some skill that will help Diamond Mountain or will help ACI. Okay, so we're asking you to learn a skill. Third requirement, in English, in American English, it's called grunt work. And that means washing dishes, cleaning houses, cleaning up after Buddhist retreatants, which are the hardest people. They're messy. They leave lots of stuff to clean up. So part of my training, I spent 8 years in the kitchen. I was a dishwasher for 20 years, okay? And I think it builds character. Look at my character. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. So I really believe, and we have talked it over, me, Sunam, and Tim, that we would like to make a requirement of the grant that you agree to do dirty work when it's needed, okay? It's not all day, it's just about 90% of the day. But we would like to do that. And so it's a 2-year grant. It's renewable. If you do well, we'll renew it, or you can apply to have it renewed, okay? So it's basically you have to make an application. We modeled this after a thing in America. It's called Genius Grant. What's it called? MacArthur Grant. They give you $1 million, right? We give you a little bit less. And by the way, that money goes to hire you, okay? So you don't get the money, just to tell you. You get hired, we pay your Social Security, we pay all these other taxes, bluff. You end up getting something, I don't know how much, but basically you will have a job, a paid job that will support you, okay? And that's the offer. We call it a Tonglen Service Grant. There's the QR code. Maybe some of you want to take a 2-year break from whatever you're doing and serve at Diamond Mountain or serve ACI. And that's the basic idea, okay? Now, here comes the fun part, which is my dirty job. This is my dishwashing job. We got to pay for all this. You get it? So me and Veronica, we took a day off. She said, I thought we were having a day off. I said, no, we're figuring out how to pay for this. And we sat in a hotel, and this is how we're going to pay for it, okay? I talked to Rob Russinger, who's the CFO of SCIM and DCI, and Seiji Arao Takahashi's wife, Noor Ibrahim. And Noor is a Syrian refugee. She has been hired before on these grants. She's now working as the director of what we call the engine department for SCIM and DCI, which means she gives away the money. It's a bad, hard job, but she gives away she gave away $220,000 in December, for example. So it's like the sweetest job you could ever have, to give away money, okay? So we ran it by them and begged Rob to squeeze more money out of SCIM and DCI. So I'm happy to report that DCI, SCIM, through the engine department of Noor Ibrahim, who worked for the United Nations High Council for Refugees. We stole her from the High Council for Refugees. She went to the lower council for refugees. And so they made a grant yesterday of $10,000. And then Sunam made a grant of $5,000 of her personal money. So me and Veronica will go for 3,000. Okay, so we'll get. She says 5. Okay. We'll do 5. Jigme always tries to help me out. So anyway, we're up to 20,000 for the program. Our goal is 100,000. We want to make $100,000 fund from which to give grants to people, especially people in need or who lost their homes or things like that. So if you're, now here's the pitch, okay? Give something to the Tonglen Service Grant, what do you call it? Account, okay? We need other help, okay? So that's 20-something thousand this morning. Xintian and Sugang Shi, who make these expensive rings, meditation ring from raw diamond, designed by a great jewelry designer named Roach. In Shanghai 1 week, I spent a week on it, and this is a special ring for, as you know, with a raw diamond in it for meditating. You put it on your finger, you put your hands on the diamond, and I'm not just trying to sell jewelry, it's much more powerful, okay? If you don't have that kind of money, put one in your tooth, okay? And you can touch it with your tongue, which is what I do. But Xintian has been producing these rings, and her husband. And how do I put that in there? Okay. Anyway, it's a beautiful ring. They sell for $10,000, and they have agreed to give. They have to pay for the diamonds and the gold and other costs, but they've agreed this morning under pressure to give 5,000 to the Tonglen Service Grant. Okay. Don't clap because somebody has to buy it. So, all right. So, if you want to buy it, what do they do, Tim? They go online or? Yeah. Say again? Huh? Diamond cutter jewels. We'll give you a QR code. Don't fight over it. I can tell the reaction is massive. Okay. I bought one, but they're nice. Okay. Now, Sunam has further offered. This is a hard copy of the Diamond Cutter Sutra and the Heart Sutra. Do they donate to this QR code also? And they also make applications here? Both on the same QR code. That's very efficient. The 108th person to give anything, $1, they have to give 2 minimum. Oh, how many months? Okay, it's a trick. It's a monthly donation of $1 or $2 or whatever you want. So please sign up to give a little bit of money every month for the rest of your lifetimes to the Tonglen Service Grants. And the 108th person gets these 2 precious books from Suna or somebody. Oh, I signed them, but okay. Oh, they got donated. Yeah. So anyway, look, you can't sit here and do Tonglen day after day and not help people who lost their country or are getting bombed, or people who had to leave another country, or people who have lost their work because of COVID. You can't sit here and just do it in theory, right? So, I really encourage you. I'm not going to check who gives. I'm not pressuring you beyond telling you about the hell realms and stuff. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But be kind. Yeah, and I know Lama Supa. You want to hear a Lama Supa story? So his assistant was named is Roger Kunsam, who, if I may say quietly, was a gang member in New Zealand, and he's got tattoos like everywhere, and he met Lama Saba and became a monk and became one of the best monks in the West, and still is, and was taking care of Rinpoche, serving him all day long for many years, and. So I heard this cute story. They were on a flight together, and Rinpoche really enjoyed offering his food more than eating food, which is weird. So they took off and they started handing out the food, and so Rinpoche's doing all these prayers over the food. Roger's like wondering how long it's gonna go on, and it went on for 2 hours. And then the stewardess came and said, "We're landing. I have to take the food." And Roger's like, "Whoa!" And Rinpoche's like, "Wait, I got a few more minutes to go." And that's the kind of guy he was. I heard a nice story when he was in Bodh Gaya. Somebody had given him all these gifts, and they're driving down the road. Bodh Gaya is one of the poorest places in India, and very desperately poor people. And he saw this lady walking down the road, and he said, "Stop the car," And he said, "She's Vajrayogini." And he said, "Empty out all the gifts, give her everything." They stop the car and they take out all these things that people offered him, and all the money, all this food. And here's this poor lady walking down the street in India, in the country, and he made prostrations to her and gave her all this stuff and just drove off. So so we can do a little bit, right? We can offer something. Okay, so don't be a loser. Give something. Okay, give $1 a month or $2 a month, or give something. Inevitably, we will be the people who need it. You know that. If they can bomb one country, they can bomb another country. And usually it happens in your lifetime that you become the refugee. So when you're not the refugee, it's nice to help refugees. And then, because sometime it will happen to us also. I mean, it's human. It's the realm we're in. So take care of other people. Make it real. Here's your chance, okay? And then the money all goes to give work to people who want to help with either ACI or Diamond Mountain. The thing about that is you can stay wherever you live if you need to, okay? You don't have to come to Arizona. I mean, what do you call it? It's a great honor to come to Arizona, to work at Diamond Mountain or work in Sedona. But if you can't, and you have families and stuff, you can work remotely. We will have some remote jobs. Okay, so you can apply a Tonglen service grant remotely. We need human beings here, but we'll try to help. I didn't catch that, Sunamla. Tim says 5,000. Yay! So I think we're 25% covered already. I think we have 25,000 already. I didn't put pressure on 2 of my Chinese friends yet. Probably I could just make the announcement for them, right? She's like, okay, well, we'll talk to them later. Just help out, okay? Please help out, okay? And if you'd like to apply for a grant, think about it. There's a thing that they do in Europe. It's a very good idea. It's called a gap year. And you finish your university you finish 3 years of university. And then you take a gap year. And you go and serve somewhere in the world for a year. And then you come back and finish your 4th year. And I think that's a brilliant idea. So, anybody can apply for a Tonglen service grant. Like if you own a company, and we don't care, okay? If you just want to take a break and take a 2-year sabbatical from your job or from whatever you're doing, and you want to work for DC, Diamond Mountain or ACI, you're welcome to apply for a Donglan grant. Somebody asked me if I already work for DM, can I apply for a grant? And the answer is yes. Okay, so if you already work for ACI, if you're an online translator, for example, or something like that, you're welcome to apply for a grant. And probably we will look upon your application favorably. You see what I mean? All right, Miss Jigme.
I was thinking there's a donation button on the website that I was thinking maybe if people are giving one, it might be better to do a bank transfer because that way they won't take up to whatever 5% or whatever.
Yeah, good. So the website donation button works on credit card, etc. If you'd like to give a large amount, contact Tim or Sunam directly, and then we can just make a bank transfer, and it saves money. It saves a lot of money. Okay, Diamond Mountain for the stupas, for example, we lost a lot of money. We paid the credit card people. So talk to, if you're a fat cat, talk to Sunam or Tim directly. And by the way, ACI and Diamond Mountain will split grants equally. Okay, so it's a joint project by 2 of our organizations, and I'm very proud of them for setting an example of working together and doing a project together. That's very cool. All right, let's get back to Tonglan. Okay. We're on Dini Ngak, okay, so again, yeah, good, okay. And by the way, I'll stop 15 minutes before 9 o'clock World Central Dewey time and take questions and answers, okay, about any topic, I don't care. Okay, so here we go. Dini Ngaki Kap Ne Shepe Dorje Depa Dang Chandra. He says this practice of Tonglen, riding on the breath, okay, cowboy Tonglen on your prana, chi, okay, ki, is actually related, linked to a secret practice. Okay, ngak means mantra in Tibetan, and mantra in Tibetan means tantra. Okay, mantrayana and tantrayana, same thing. Okay, so he says there is a high diamond way practice that you can do related to your pranayamas, and that connects to YSI. So it's kind of like YSI connects to ACI, connects to diamond way. And he says it's related to a practice called Dorje Depa. Okay, Dorje Depa. Dorje Depa means diamond mantra reciting. Okay, and it's a very high diamond way practice. There are 18 courses in Diamond Way Tantra that were developed at Diamond Mountain. It took 14 years of very hard work by a certain grandpa, and 7 years in New York to prepare the people, 18 courses, about 30,000 pages of translation. And then 7 years to teach Diamond Way here at Diamond Mountain. And that's about 30, the whole thing, Ellie, I don't know, 30,000 pages, I don't know. Something like that. Yeah, I'm still working on it. But it was it's a lot of work, I believe. And I was at, there's only 2 tantric colleges in Tibet. It's Gyume and Gyutu. My teacher was the vice abbot of Gyume. So he, we're familiar with what they teach. And I was there when they opened their debate ground. I debated at Yume Tantra College in the first weeks that they opened in there, and it was cool. Okay, so the Diamond Mountain course in the Diamond Way is better than the course at either Tantric college. And I can say it without hesitation, okay? Because I've been there and I spent time there. And the Diamond Mountain course, 18 courses, is better organized than any Diamond Way course in history. And it's more thorough. So anyway, this practice of diamond recitation is part of those 18 courses. Anybody remember which course? I don't know. Nah. Okay. Anyway, it's in there. Okay. And if you get a chance to take the 18 advanced courses, the Diamond Way courses, you should do it. Okay. Right now, Peter, John, Connie, Ellie are focusing on teaching those Diamond Way courses, and Tim, I think. And you're very welcome to talk to them and start to learn it, okay? If you want to learn the secret breathing Tonglen practice of diamond recitation, you need to learn it properly. I will not teach it in public, okay? You need to learn it from in the old way. Geshe, sorry. My teacher loved this investment company advertising on TV in 1975. And there's an old banker who says, we make money the old way. We earn it. And he said, I love that guy, you know, and so you got to earn it, okay? So talk to one of those guys. Debe Dan Chandashing. And then he quotes, he says, I can't tell you about that in a public teaching, but I can refer you Kedub J Lamer. Okay, say Kedub J Lamer. Okay, so Kedub means it's an abbreviation of Keshin Drupa. Okay, Keshin Drupa means what do you call it? Wise and practiced, or something like that. Knowledgeable and practiced, and it's a beautiful word. It means a person who learns the scriptures correctly, and then does retreat, and goes and does it. Okay, so K means lots of classroom hours. Drub means lots of retreat hours. And if you call somebody Kidrup, it's a big compliment. We just finished yesterday, mostly, Sugang's new book, which is by Kedub Dembadage. It's a different Kedub. So that's the meaning of Kedub. Okay, there's a famous Kedub, which is the student of Jetson Kappa, one of the two principal students of Jetson Kappa. There's three big names there. There's Gyaltsab J, Kedub J, and the first Dalai Lama. But the first Dalai Lama was just a kid at the time. So we don't count him much in the pictures, but he's there, okay? He taught, or he ordained a great teacher from Sera J named Sera Jetson, and he taught Kedub Dembadage. So that's the lineage. There's a tight lineage. So Tsongkhapa student Kedub J said about his teacher, okay? And here's a picture, Daniel. Nope. Yeah, when you see this picture and Grandpa Geshe Michael asks you, what's this picture? You're gonna say, this is my teacher breathing. Okay, this is my teacher breathing. And the Diamond Mountain lineage And by the way, how it differs from the lineage that we came from, Lama Supa's lineage, for example, is that we are returning to the days when Buddhist teachers were either ordained or not ordained, okay? And that's a big change, okay? Originally, Buddhism was taught by people who were not ordained. In Tibet, it was taught by people who were not ordained. In India also. And then for a while, kind of the monks and nuns took over. And there's a heavy, beautiful tradition of normal people, normal working people teaching Buddhism to normal working people, which seems to work pretty well. Okay, so because they understand the challenges of normal working people. So this guy is a high lama, okay, and he probably learned his stuff at Diamond Mountain, okay, but it's a tradition. There's an ancient tradition of lay people teaching lay people, and even teaching monks and nuns. Okay, so that's very much our tradition. Okay, doesn't matter what's your background, doesn't matter what country you're from. We were the first people in the world, ACI, to teach women the Geshe course. Okay, and we were heavily criticized and really badly criticized. And then suddenly they just announced the first woman Geshe in the traditional monastery. We're like, yeah, well, we did that before. So anyway, I think it's a great thing, okay? You're very welcome to become a teacher. I think you'll make great teachers. If you don't become a teacher, you're lazy, okay? You should teach, okay? You should teach. We are like a major city of 10 million people with one doctor or two doctors. You know, it's bad. Situation's bad, okay? Many people are suffering because there's not enough doctors, okay? So if you listen to these teachings and you don't pass them on, you're a, what's that bad word that Geshe would never say in front of his wife? You're a loser, okay. All right, here's Kedubje's description of his teacher, okay? And then you gotta guess why it's here, okay? Gombo Kyuki Sheki Uktang Yang Tada Dola member Gyurna, okay? Just that, just 2 lines, okay? Gombo means my lama, my protector, okay? Who's that? Tsongkhapa. He's talking to Tsongkhapa, Kedubje. Kyuki shall uktsam, a single breath from your lips. Okay, a single breath from your lips. Okay, uktsam yang, tadak dola, countless living beings, men. You know Menla, medicine Buddha. Okay, this man means is medicine, is sweet medicine. For what? All living beings. Okay, when you, oh, Jetson Kappa, when you are helping countless living beings. Okay, a single exhalation, a short single exhalation from your lips is the service of all living beings. You know, this is Kedubje talking about his teacher. You know, and then Pabon Rinpoche says, that's the Gomba. That's what we're talking about. Okay, we're talking about Tonglen being connected to pranayama. Okay, if you don't know the pranayama part, take YSI course in September, right? And they're going through a deep, deep book about breathing practice and retreat. Okay, and it'll take us 2 years to finish. I think we're about a quarter of the way through. It's a secret practice. And that's why Kedubje said about his own teacher, you just, and countless people are helped by that. Okay, and if you want to learn that, come to YSI. All right, okay. Gongba means that's the idea of those lines. We're talking about this secret practice on the breath, connected with Donglen. Okay, cool. All right, I went and got you the quotation, but that's okay. By the way, I use the database of John Brady's team, the Asian Legacy Library. I use it probably 100 times a day. And my teaching strongly depends on it. When I was in the monastery, finishing the Geshe exam, we have intercollegiate Geshe exams. We have to debate against other monasteries. And I showed my team how to use the database, and they're like, now we got him, you know. And it was so cool, you know. We wiped out everybody because every night we were like, you know, and finding amazing stuff on John Brady's database. So I'd like to thank John and his team. And I'd like to thank all the people supporting John Brady's team. And I know the Gold Club, for example, is really important. And I'm really grateful for that. So Peter, thank you, and Maria. That was an interesting fundraising thing because they basically asked people to give $5 a month or $2 a month. And they've raised $1.5 million and for John Brady's project. So I'd like to thank them again. I think that's kind of a cool fundraising thing. If everyone gives a little bit, it's very helpful. Okay. Dida Mengak Shen Yang Yuma. Next line, you guys. And don't forget, we'll have question and answer in 15 minutes. Dida Mengak Shen Yang Yuma. There's lots of deep teachings here. Mengak means deep teachings. Ma means but. I cannot teach Tantra in a Lamrim class, or I'm not. Okay, he says, go talk to these Diamond Way teachers. Okay, even in the Lamrim, he says, look, I'm just giving you a little taste, and then you have to learn it properly from a proper teacher. Okay. And the teachers at Diamond Mountain are the most highly trained tantric teachers in the world. Okay, period. Okay, there's a 3-year retreat at Gyume Tantric College. You go stay in a house in the middle of the monastery, which is like, I'm like, what? And they're like, well, that's how we do it. I'm like, yeah, but anyway, okay. And by the way, it's a great institution. It's the greatest. It's been there for 600 years. But I think the way it's being done at Diamond Mountain is very, very special and I think very powerful. All right. Here comes a whole new section. All right. We've actually officially finished Tonglen. What was the last thing he said? I'm not teaching you the real one. Go learn it properly. Okay. Then he says, let's move on. Okay. Kind of cruel. Sumba Kien Nyen Chanchuki Lam to Gyurwani. And I put the header there. It's called Turning Problems into the Path. Okay. It's a special Buddhist practice called Kien Nyen Chanchuki Lam to Gyur. This Gyur means transformation, and it's the verb for turning yourself into a cloud, turning yourself into the sun. It means to transform something completely, okay? And we're about to start a whole section about the unique Buddhist skill of consciously looking for difficult situations and turning them into wild successes. And it's a wonderful, wonderful practice, okay? You purposely seek out difficult situations, and then you flip them into this incredible success, okay? And I think even if you just want to be a business person or something, I think this next section is really, really wonderful, and it transformed my life. I get this, okay? Just listen, okay? If you learn to identify problems and then go eat them, live off them like candy, okay? Then what is your life? You got the good parts and the bad parts, right? If you learn to eat the bad parts and turn them into the good parts, well, what's your life? It's good parts all day, okay? So normally, human life has good parts and bad parts. And most human beings try to hang out in the good parts and avoid the bad parts, including irritating people and nice people. So it's human nature to try to hang out with the nice people and to try to avoid the irritating people. If you learn this part of the Lam Rim, you will reverse your behavior. You will look for assholes, okay? And guess what? You'll find them, okay? All right? You are looking for irritating people, and you are looking for difficult situations, tense situations, arguments, dangerous situations, okay? And you're sucking them up. Wow, that's so nice. And you flip them. You learn to flip them. If you have good stuff going on 50% of the time, and if you have bad stuff going on 50% of the time, if half the people you meet are really nice and half the people you meet are really dumb, and then you focus on the dumb ones and you focus on the difficult situations, and you have this magical Lam Rim technique to flip them, then what's your life? Your whole day is fun. And I do it. And I have to say it works. And it's fun. Okay? 24 hours a day fun. Okay? Every single stupid person you ever meet is like another opportunity to have a good day. And if you learn this section, it's worth all the trouble you took to come to this retreat, okay? Then you're looking for difficult situations, and you're looking for difficult people. If two directors of two organizations tell you, by tomorrow morning, Geshe, can you come up with a fundraising thing to cover this? Then you're like, yeah, we'll do that. And you turn it into something really fun, and it helps thousands of people. And okay, all right. So this part is really beautiful, and if you can learn it, there's no such thing as a bad day. Okay, and just imagine having a good day every day. Okay, and every time a problem comes up, you eat it like you're really hungry. Like, how does our granddaughter express happiness at this point? She's 6 months exactly, right? And we went to visit her yesterday, and she goes, I said, what's going on? They said, that's how she expresses happiness. I'm like, okay, she's really happy. Hopefully later she'll learn to smile. But imagine all the in your life turned into something happy. Imagine. Okay, so really we got to learn this section. Okay, really work hard on this section. Okay, because the result of working hard on this section is you're having fun all day, every day. no matter what happens. I was at the doctor. I have my kidneys not doing great, and she told me you're like, and I was like, yeah, okay. And she says, she looks at me and she says, she doesn't know what I do, and she says, do you meditate? I'm like, yeah, a little bit. You know, it's just, yeah, something's, you know. So anyway, isn't that's the thing. Okay. What is the next picture, you guys? Did I not give you a 43.25? I think I forgot. Okay, let's cancel it. We talked about Pung Sumba for $2 because we just gave away all our money. What's a Pung Sumba? With in regard to reactions with other people, interactions. Sorry.
Finding a third way.
Yeah, between what?
Between blowing somebody off.
Nah, not really. Kind of.
Taking care of yourself.
Yeah, good. That's all. That's all. So in any situation with other people, you have a choice of taking care of yourself first or taking care of others first. And in a traditional Buddhist teaching, and I'm actually thinking of Lama Supa, they would talk for hours that you should sacrifice what you want and take care of what other people want. And that's, I think there's a deeper teaching here, that a real Buddhist yogi, and what makes you a yogi is you're faced with a situation of taking care of what somebody else wants or taking care of what you want, and you Pung Sumba. You cover both to higher than the expectations of either party. Okay, the combination of both gets both parties more than they expected. Okay, got it? The donor gives a lot of money, and then suddenly there's these 2-year grants, and both parties get success. Both parties get more than they expected. Okay, got it? It's an attitude towards solving problems. Don't settle for taking care of yourself or taking care of somebody else. Don't settle for that. Settle for both at a higher degree than either one individually. Got it? Okay. Find clever solutions that give each party more than they expected. And by the way, that's the key to a business negotiation. We're teaching business negotiation at the MBA program. I negotiated for 19 years, many times every day. That was my job. And the ultimate negotiation is both parties get more than they wanted when they came to the negotiation. And that's the way it should be, okay? And that's Tonglen, all right? That's a kind of Tonglen. Okay, Nyingme Dundir. They shouldn't opinion chete. By the way, now here's a deep question for today. Why did a teacher who was teaching Tonglen suddenly flip to turning problems into opportunities? He doesn't give any introduction. He says, don't forget this tantric practice on your breath. And by the way, stuff's gonna mess up, and try to change it into something good. And then he talks about that for like 10 days. You should be like, wait, Geshe, we were talking about Tonglen, now suddenly he switched it. He didn't switch it, Peter. It is Tonglen, right? Okay, Tonglen is to take the problems and turn them into I don't like to say opportunity. I object to that language. There's lots of Lamrim traditional language interpretation of Lamrim that I object to. I don't like it when you say turn a problem into an opportunity, because opportunity means unrealized potential. Get it? Opportunity does not mean success. If you don't take an opportunity, you fail. Okay, I don't like the language. I don't like it when people teach this section and they say, oh, turn a problem into an opportunity. But I'm like, what happens if the opportunity don't work out? You know? Okay. I want to say turn a problem into a wild success. Forget success too. That's so boring. Wild, exciting, fun success. Okay. All right, got it? This next section, because that's the choice you're faced with when you choose between yourself and other people. Okay, this should be the next part of Tonglen. This should be the next part of Tonglen. How to turn a bad situation into wild success. And if you get good at this, you don't have a bad day. There's no such thing as a bad day. Even terrible things, your body's feeling. Yeah, cool. I'll use it for something. Okay. It's beautiful. It's very beautiful. Okay. All right. He says, Nigme Tundir. Now in the days of screw-ups, Nigma means in modern times when stuff messes up so frequently. There's a special Tibetan word for that. It's called Nigma. Okay. Nigma means when you make a tea and you get to the bottom and there's junk down at the bottom, like little leaves and stuff, that's called Nigma. It means the junk, the last 10%, the last junk 10% is called Nigma. Our whole world is last junk 10%. Okay, modern times. Looking back at the glory days of Buddhism, Buddhism is 99% dead in this world. Real Buddhism is 99% dead in this world. Oh, Geshe, there's some people in Burma. All of China is Buddhist. Sri Lanka, they're not. Okay, and forget it. It's a dead religion. 99%, it's a corpse. Okay, it's gone. 99% gone in this world. It's almost gone. How many Buddhists in India? Zero. There's zero. There's a small movement among the untouchables, but it's gone. Okay, it's too precious to keep in this world. Okay, it's too precious to keep in this world. So he says, look, these are the Nigma days, which means it's a great times for turning problems into wild successes. He says, we're so lucky to live in the garbage days, because there's more raw material to turn into success. Okay, he's so funny. He's like, you're so lucky to live at the end of Buddhism, because there's so much problems now. If you learn how to turn problems into opportunities, you're gonna be success. You're gonna be wild success. Okay, Yenden Che means very lucky. When you get problems in your Dharma practice, you better learn how to flip them into opportunities for wild success. Okay. De menaken sangen kangjung yang chushor dro. If you don't learn to turn problems into opportunities for wild success, you will lose your Dharma practice. Chushor means you will lose your Dharma practice. You won't be a Buddhist. Okay. If you don't know how to, because of the condition of the world right now, if you don't learn to turn problems into wild success opportunities, you will fail in your Dharma practice because of the situation in the world right now. There's zero Buddhism. because of the situation in the world at large, you better be able to turn problems into something better, or you're sure is a terrible, terrible expression. Sure means to slip on the ice. Sure means to fall down, walking, down the stairs. Sure means the Dharma slipped on the ice and the Dharma fell down the stairs. And that's the time. These are those days, okay? So on the days that the Dharma fell down the stairs, you better learn to turn problems into some great advantage. Okay, cool. All right, and that's a teaser for the tomorrow's class. Yeah, okay. We got 15 minutes, Uncle Tim, for Q&A of any type.
So the first question, Geshe,
Okay.
comes from Gabriela Fuchs, and she said, what are some obstacles and antidotes for being able to see yourself as an enlightened being? And she says, it's easier for me to see others already as enlightened helping me, but to be able to see myself that way seems more challenging.
Yeah, good question. There's a weird thing. There's a thing in Christianity, and me and Veronica, as I mentioned, we're enjoying watching a TV series called The Chosen, which is a beautiful, beautiful presentation of Jesus's life. And there's this very serious injunction, this suggestion from Jesus that says, when you are generous, like you give $5,000 to, right, Sinam? Jesus says, keep it secret. Don't tell anybody, okay? And like do your giving in secret, like that's not my style, but there's this idea of doing it in secret. And we grew up on that. I grew up on that. That's the teaching I was brought up on. So I think most of us, whichever part of the world we come from, we were pretty much told by our parents that when you do good things, don't advertise it. Don't tell people, don't brag about it. It kind of cheapens the good thing. It makes it cheap or something. So keep it quiet, do good things, don't tell everybody. That's a very great, it is a great tradition. And then the Abhidharma says, no, Shi Lam, what's it called? The 4 steps, right? Tartu. Do the 4 steps. And the 4th step of the 4th step, the long name, the short name is Tartu. Tartu means celebrate the good things you do. Celebrate them. The long version of Tartu is Dakir Chepa. Dakir Chepa means own it. Make it your own. Dakir Chepa. Make it your own. Okay. And then we run around the world teaching people in DCI. There's almost 200,000 DCI students now. We teach them the 4 steps. They live on the 4 steps. The 4th step is rejoicing, tartuk, or dakir chepa. Own your good deeds, make them yours, okay? And then we go back a year later and we talk to the same people. And some people are like, yeah, I had this wild success, and some people say nothing happened. And then we do the cross check. It's called cross check. We check the 4 steps. Did you do number 1? Yeah, I did. I have a goal in mind. Did you do number 2? Yeah, I identified someone to help. Did you do number 3? Yeah, I helped them. Did you do number 4? Well, it's really frustrating for me because it takes me like 10 minutes to get to the and I'm like, well, you didn't do number 4, did you? which is what? You can call it coffee meditation, but it just means when you go to sleep, before you go to sleep, never sleep with problems in your mind. Never. Okay? It's really dumb. Okay? The time for problems is the breakfast table, when everything is glorious, you know, toast with lots of peanut butter. That's breakfast. It's hard to have a, problems are smaller in the light of day. When the sun comes up, problems get smaller, okay? It's really dumb to think about your problems when you're going to bed, okay? Well, Geshe, what am I supposed to think about when I go to bed? Think about the good stuff you did today, okay? I didn't do any good stuff today. You did, but you're just not thinking about it, okay? Why? Partly what we've noticed in DCI is the best people tend to have the most trouble with coffee meditation because they have this feeling that they shouldn't brag about their good deeds. And that's a good thing. That's a good habit. You know, you shouldn't advertise your good deeds to everybody, except yourself. Except yourself. Sorry, I'm eating in the middle of it. Save the problems meditation for the light of day. If you get up before dawn, like I'm forced to do at Dharma Mountain, necessarily to get all the time zones, wait till the sun comes up before you think about your problems, okay? Never go to bed thinking about your problems. Always fall asleep thinking about the good things you did today, okay? I didn't do any good things today. That's not true. That proves you haven't been sleeping well. You know, I practice during the day, Shintian. Like, I'll just practice falling off to sleep with good thoughts like a couple times a day, especially if someone's trying to tell me something boring. Okay, but why am I talking about this? Because I know the question didn't address that, but the question did address that. Good people tend to not acknowledge when they're being good. Okay, good people seem to have more trouble admitting they did something good than bad people who didn't do anything good, who think they're doing good. You understand? So the people who have the most trouble seeing themselves as a Buddha, which is the real question, it's human nature of good people that they don't, somehow they don't want to brag even to themselves. Okay? So you got to get over that. You got to do coffee meditation. You got to get in the habit. Did we do good stuff today? Yes. What percent was it? 1. Okay, for everybody in this room, I don't care, except maybe, okay, we are not amazing people. We are not special people, but think about the good stuff you did at least once a day when you fall asleep, okay? And we're not great practitioners and we're not great Buddhists, but we do some good stuff. And if you focus on that, it'll be easier for you to see yourself as a Buddha, okay? There's a famous conversation between a teacher and his student. The teacher said, we got to go to the temple. Why? It's Sojong time. Well, what do you mean? We have to confess our mistakes for the last 2 weeks, you know? And the student said, I don't need to. And the teacher said, why? And the student said, I'm Vajrayogini. I'm a perfect being. I don't have to purify myself. You know, you just gave me initiation. You just spent weeks telling me how I'm a perfect being. I don't need to go confess. He said, he kicked him in the butt. He said, get to the temple. He said, Vajrayogini is going to confess today. Okay. Okay, understand? So that's, but the opposite's also true. We're not perfect, but we have the seed of perfection is in us. We have Buddha nature. All beings have Buddha nature. So if you can't recognize that Buddha nature, you are cheating yourself and you are cheating other people. It's not a noble thing to deny your Buddha nature. It's just a mistake. It's a big mistake. Okay, you are a beautiful pure being. You just got to polish it a little bit. Okay, but it's there. It's all there. Okay, so and if you don't, then you failed as a Buddha. Okay, which proves you're not a Buddha, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Acknowledge your goodness, especially before you go to sleep. That's the best time of day to do it. Okay, acknowledge your goodness. Don't be shy to brag to yourself. That's a good habit, and it makes you a better person. Okay, all right, Mr. Tim.
This is another question from online. Sorry, guys. We got to give them some opportunity
Yeah,
too.
this online app, but we'll catch up.
This is from Ola. I think this is interesting. She says, if everything is coming from me, coming from my own seeds, when I die and pass on, will the people that I see now continue to exist or not?
Yeah, that's a good question. If everything's coming from my seeds and then I die, then I don't know, does the universe stop and does all the people I was projecting, do they all stop? So the projecting is going on from two sides, right? I mean, they are projecting themselves to themselves and you are projecting them to yourself. So the only thing that ends is your projection to yourself of them, but they still have their projection to themselves of them, okay? So no problem. They get to go on, right? The interface is interesting. The interface between my projection of you and your projection of you is the interesting border to talk about, you know, and we assume that my projection of another person, if it doesn't exactly match, it's probably close to what they're projecting. You see what I mean? We believe that. I'm seeing Shintian in a certain way. Shintian's seeing Shintian in a certain way. I can't read Shintian's mind right now, but I can see a lot. I know you for a long time. And we make an assumption that that's what Shintian is seeing also. But that's not logical. Who knows what kind of seed she has, you know? So the interaction interface, how I see her and how she sees her, God knows how she sees herself. I don't know. I don't know what she's seeing. And I will never know until I become a Buddha or something, you know. I don't know how you see yourself. I just see how I see you. But in either case, you are coming from seeds. Okay, in both cases, you are coming from seeds. If your seeds for something to end, if your seeds run out and something ends like your life, it doesn't prove anything about what they're seeing. They could be seeing anything. We don't know. Okay. By the way, since we don't know, it's probably better to. My old boss at the diamond business, he was Israeli. You know the Azriman family. And so I would donate most of my income to the monastery or to ALL for 19 years. And every 6 months I would collect my salary from the company and then donate it. They would donate it directly I didn't even get it. It just was donated directly. I got a little bit to buy bus tickets and stuff. And but there would be this negotiation every 6 months, and these two tough Israeli investors, we'd have a meeting, and I'd say, well, it's time for me to get my money. And they'd say, I'd say, the CFO would come in, he'd say, okay, it's up to 80,000, 90,000, 100. And then the CFO would say, it's 89,300, and I would look at these Israelis, right? And I'd say, let's make it an even 100, and they're like, no, let's make it 120. I'm like, what? They said, nah, not an even 100. Let's make it 150. What the hell? And I'd be like, wow. I said, can I ask you a personal question? And they said, yeah. And I said, you guys are Israeli. You're like all Jewish people. And then my boss said, the most Jewish I ever got was throwing rocks at cars on Saturdays. People driving their car on Saturdays. I was throwing rocks at them. I said, yeah, but you're not like Tibetan Buddhists, Why are you making these huge donations on top of my salary? Why are you doing that? And he looks me in the eye and he says, you never know who's right. And I'm like, wow, that's so smart. And he said, yeah, I donate to everything. When I get to heaven, I can say, yeah, I donated to that. So you got to have that attitude with other people. Okay, you don't know who's Buddha. Like, don't mess up. It's safer to assume everybody's a Buddha and act that way, because some of them are, probably, and then you're covered. Okay, got it? Treat everybody like a Buddha, then you're not gonna offend any Buddha, right? It's a lot more logical, like my Jewish boss, okay? Okay, Tim, time's up. Anything else? Did anybody buy this stupid thing yet? Do I have to press you some more? Okay.
Hi, everyone, and everyone online. I wanted to make a quick announcement. Okay, thanks. Tomorrow, we're going to be in the second class. We're going to be doing, well, tomorrow's a very special day, first of all. And we're going to be doing two things. One is we're going to be offering Bodhisattva vows here live during the second class. So if you have taken ACI 7 and finished it with homeworks and quizzes and final exam, you may be eligible to take those vows. But we also have, you can also take the vows as a wish to say, I'm aspiring to be a Bodhisattva. And so anybody here in the studio audience is welcome to take those vows. Anyone online as well, and you can take them as a, excuse me? Also, if you would like to renew the vows you already have, you can do that as well. And we're going to do that in the second class. And there's some of us have just finished ACI 7, so we're going to be up here. Geshe is going to be here. Venerable Jigme and Venerable Geshe as well have offered to lead the ceremony tomorrow. We're also going to be doing a fire ceremony in the evening too. So it's going to be a wonderfully full day tomorrow. And so we're going to switch to the online announcements with Nikita. And thank you all for joining us. Thank you for teaching us, Geshe. Thank you. You lost me.
Yay, free.
Thank you, Geshe and Michael, for teaching us today.
We do have yoga at 10:30. Who's teaching?
We hope you enjoyed the class today, and if you would like to rewatch it, you can always find lectures and other resources on the ACI online platform. We hope that you can try it out. It's a very useful tool for your studies. And as Tim said, we will have vows ceremony tomorrow, April 15th at Saturday at 7:45 a.m. Central Arizona time, Central World Arizona. And the fire ceremony will happen at night at 7 p.m. Arizona time tomorrow. So check in your calendars and in your versions of the schedule on your language, so you surely be on time. For Asia, it will happen, fire ceremony will happen at 16th already. So just check and be prepared. Thank you everyone very much, and dedicate your practice. Don't forget that you're doing very well.